yes, you did just see that right. Buddy Hield just got drafted to the New Orleans Pelicans. And if you don't know who he is, I'll give you a little sneak peek of who this guy is, man. He's a 6'4" senior at the University of Oklahoma who's just been tearing college basketball up all this year. Now, I'm not going to be one of those hipster people that say I saw this comment or that I knew much about him a couple months ago, because I didn't. I really just started watching this guy play back a couple months ago in the beginning of January, where he dropped 40-something points on the University of Kansas when Kansas was the #1 team in the league. And I was like, you know what? This guy is amazing. And he's been pretty much doing a lot. He's been averaging over 25 points per game. His team is still in the tournament and they're playing tonight, actually. And I'm a huge fan. I'm a huge fan of this guy. Right now, NBADraft.net has him compared with James Harden. Now, that's not saying much because NBADraft.net also compared Deshaun Stevenson to Michael Jordan. Do you remember Deshaun Stevenson? Exactly. And they also had Adam Morrison compared to Larry Bird. So some of the comparisons aren't that great, but really I do think that Hield is going to be a solid pro. And let's get into his very first professional basketball game. In Buddy's first NBA game, he's going to be going against the Sacramento Kings, and I think we can all agree that that's probably one of the best places to start your career. Honestly, because the Kings, they suck. They still suck. I mean, I'm a year into it. This is the 2016-2017 season, so some of the rosters have changed. You see, they have Courtney Lee as their new starting shooting guard, and look at that. Buddy is our starting shooting guard. That's because Eric Gordon decided to walk, so we're replacing one 6'4" shooting guard with another. And speaking of 6'4", that's one of the knocks that a lot of people have on Buddy. He's only 6'4", but he doesn't have the vision and the ball handling skills to be a point guard, so he's going to be a 6'4" shooting guard in the league. And I mean, I think that's okay. I don't think height plays a huge part anymore. Like, a lot of teams are running small, so a 6'4" shooting guard isn't a bad thing, so I do think that he can probably have a successful career at 6'4" and play in the shooting guard position. So honestly, I had no idea who this guy was at the end of 2015. Usually I start watching college basketball around the conference tournaments so I can have a little idea of what teams are good going into the March Madness, so I can, act like kind of a pro like we all do. We all act like we know a little something about college basketball around March. Well, I actually do a little research earlier, so when March comes around, I can have my bracket. Even though this year I didn't really do one, I can have my bracket and have some ideas of some guys who are gonna go crazy or teams that can win it all. And I thought that Buddy was gonna have a successful NCAA tournament, and so far he has, man. Tonight, if you're watching this on the day it's being released, 3/24/2016, he's going to be playing in the Sweet 16, and it should be a good one. So if you don't watch much college basketball, but you're watching this video and you have no idea who this guy is, be sure to tune in to that game, because hopefully he can have a field day out there so you can see why I decided to make him in 2K. I also want to thank Embrace the Pace. If you don't know who he is, he's another YouTube content creator where he basically, one of his main things he does on this channel is he creates the incoming rookies. So the guy, like the face of this Buddy Hield player that you're seeing right now, was all based on Embrace the Pace's video. I'll link his channel in the description. If you're into creating players and into draft classes and all things like that, he's a guy you want to be subscribed to. So I'm subscribed to him. I like to recreate some of his things because he does everything on the PS4, and I'm over on the Xbox One, kind of stranded when it comes to draft classes. But thanks to him, we got a pretty solid representation of Buddy. So in this year's upcoming draft, I do think that Buddy is the most NBA ready guy there is. Now, one thing about the NBA today, a lot of teams draft for potential. So Ben Simmons most likely is going to be the #1 pick, #1 and #2 pick between him and Brandon Ingram. And that's because these guys are young. They're not even 20. I know Brandon Ingram just turned, I think, 18 a couple months ago. And then Ben Simmons is not even 20 either. So a lot of teams in the NBA pick players based on their potential. So we can see Ben Simmons potentially being at LeBron's level. We can see Brandon Ingram potentially getting up to somebody that level too. But Buddy, he's been in this college all his years. He's going to be graduating this year. That's rare when it comes to the NBA. It's really rare that guys spend there all 4 years. And I think that's one of the reasons why he's not as high on the draft board as some of the other guys. Like right now, since he's in the tournament, he's been playing well. I've seen him jump from, like, people project him to be 7th. And now he's jumped all the way up to 4th, and it may go even higher if his teams end up winning the championship. But since he's older, a lot of guys don't see he's going to get much better. But right now, the Pelicans are a team that wants to compete, and they need a guy that can come in and score the basketball. And that's one of the reasons why I put Buddy here on this Pelican team. That's pretty much it, man. We end up winning that game. Buddy actually had a career night, which is not saying much because it's his first game in his career, but he ended up having over 30 points. Now, will this happen every game? I highly doubt it, but luckily we were going against the Kings. You can see his highlight right here. He scored 27, 10, and 4, so he did end with a double-double, not 30, but a double-double and a victory. If you did enjoy the video, as always, boys, be sure to leave it a like. Let me know if I should bring more videos like this where it's kind of spontaneous. I don't know if this is going to be a series or anything, but I just like Buddy, so I decided that I want to make him in 2K. If you enjoyed it, like I said, be sure to leave it a like. King of the fourth quarter. Thanks so much for watching.